It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to another episode of rAVe TV, the industry's only Pro AV weekly live TV show. Gary is on a plane, so I have asked Megan A. Dutta to come and be my co-host for this episode. Welcome, Megan. How's it going?
Hey, Steph, it's good. I'm so happy to be here today.
Yeah, thank you for stepping in. I feel like it's like not a fun thing for me to like do this by myself.
No, I would not want to be doing this by myself.
I always just like feel like I'm talking to myself for 30 minutes. So it's just like by the end I'm like who wants to watch that? So it's just like funner to have someone here to like have a conversation with and someone to like ask questions to. So yeah, I thought that it would be fun for this episode to share stories with our audience, both from rAVe PUBS, like normal. We'll talk about some of the, the big news stories that came in this past week, but we're also talking about some stories that have come on launch code over the past week. So we wanted everyone to go ahead and be able to check those out too. So go ahead, if you are not registered to be a member of launch/launch code, go and do that. And Megan, while we're talking about it, tell me what launch code covers so we can kind of explain to our audience, if they're not sure already, like what the difference is between PUBS and code.
Sure. So I like to say that launch code is the place where AV technologists who are ahead of the curve meet people that work in AV but would never say they work in AV. So for example, people that are doing virtual production, they're using a lot of these projects, they're using all of these LED displays, and they just call them LED volumes instead of video walls. They're using the same technology. They're using things from Brompton, they're using things from LG, Planar. We see these people at shows like Infocom more and more, but if you ask them what they do or what industry they would work in, they wouldn't say, oh, I work in AV. But it's a place where they can kind of meet in the middle and learn about the newest and emerging technologies in a way that's friendly. And, we do a series called What Is, where we cover new things. Like early last year, I think we did one called like What Is Virtual Production, when it was like first coming into the AV industry and people weren't really understanding it. So we do explainer things like that. We do listicles and obviously all of the news coverage that you know and love. And then eventually, Steph, I think a lot of things from launch code start to end up on rAVe PUBS, and we'll stop covering them because they've become more mainstream. Like virtual production, we're still covering it now, but as it comes more and more into the AV industry, like we saw at Infocom, we'll probably stop covering that because it's not so new and emerging anymore.
Right. So yeah, you kind of have your finger on everything that has not quite reached the traditional Pro AV home AV community yet, which is all the things that I'm covering. So yeah, I think that is like that's an important difference to make. So I think people who want to have their minds on something of what's ahead of the curve, that is totally what they're going to go to launch code for.
Yeah, Gary just wrote a great piece today about these new smart glasses and how things like that will impact. And I know we're going to get into some of the other stories that we're highlighting this week.
Yeah. Oh, wait, is it the Apple smart glasses?
He wasn't talking about Apple. I can't remember the name, of course, right now.
Okay.
But
we were talking about the Apple ones.
He did, of course,
recently
mention the Apple ones because we know he loves it. He's a big Apple fan.
Yeah.
So, of course, he mentioned that. But just talking about a company that got a lot more funding and how they're going to use these smart glasses for augmented and mixed reality and all those things.
Yeah, I'm still not there yet in terms of like, I don't like virtual reality goggles. I don't like glasses.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to need y'all to design them to look better before I put them on my face, because people look like you don't look cool. Like no one looks cool putting these on.
Well, there is a company called Mojo Vision that is actually working on an XR contact lens.
Oh, that's okay.
And they're on like maybe their third iteration. Like they've gone through the process already, so it's not just their first iteration. And I think things like that. I don't know. I don't wear glasses or contacts in real life, but I think people that are used to contacts every day, that might be a better option for them.
That seems kind of dystopian, though. Like
For
in a
sure.
really scary way. That's like
Well,
you know how Gary talks about Minority Report all the time, and that is giving Minority Report.
yeah,
Like
wait
that
till
is
we get to one of the articles we're going to talk about later because I think we'll be having the
oh, I
same
don't
conversation.
like thinking
I
about it. It
know.
makes me so nervous. It's making my hands sweat. Like okay, anyways, before we continue on with today, we are very lucky here at rAVe TV to have 3 amazing sponsors and partners, and we have a video for you from LAVNCH, and this is kind of a case study video. This is showing how Daylight's tension advantage with Sightline, it's like the cable drop version, levels up the customer experience all in a microbrewery. So check out this video, and then Megan and I will be right back.
In November 2007, I brewed my first batch of beer and was instantly hooked. For 20 years, I worked for Excel Color Graphics, which is a commercial printing company. I started bringing homebrew in, which Tom and Jim, the owners of Excel, got interested in. And we literally carved out a space inside the printing company, and we've turned this into a bit of a brewery playground. And in 2020, we opened Dutta Line Brewing Company.
Our biggest goal when we opened was to create an inviting atmosphere that was fun, creative, laid back.
We're not the average craft brewery, being that we're located inside a functioning commercial printing company. So we've tried to bring those elements from printing over into the brewery side. We draw people into the front of the house. They're having a visual experience, they're having an aroma experience. They can actively watch us brewing the product that they're eventually going to get to drink. And I think that's what sets us apart from a lot of the other breweries in town, is that open concept aspect that we have here. So what we've noticed over the last couple of years is that people tend to stay longer if there's a reason to stay longer, like a game on TV that they're really interested in.
Once we started to realize how nice it was to have at least some sort of entertainment option for them with the TV, it was time to look into something more accommodating.
When we first walked in, we saw that they had a small 55-inch TV that was barely adequate. We thought, hey, we can do better by adding a projector and screen. Flat panel TVs are great, but you can't get the picture size, and that's where the rubber meets the road, is the picture size. For this brewery installation, we saw open ceiling, exposed ductwork, large beams, definitely a geometric nightmare. So you have to get creative as an integrator. The Daylight has given us a lot of options now to overcome some of those things. We've been selling Daylight screens for a long time. They have very high quality, high definition screens. We selected a tension advantage with Sightline, 110-inch diagonal, 16:9 format. With Sightline, we're able to raise and lower the screen to the point where it needed to be. It's only a 5% upcharge, and that saved us having to get the drop exactly perfect when we ordered it.
It's just really nice when we're able to send it up into the ceiling when Phil and the guys are brewing, so it's just completely out of the way. Really couldn't be much better.
It allowed us to save 4 inches on the length of the case, which we needed to be able to fit it into the right spot. Whereas had we used extra black drop, the case would have been wider, it would not have fit. Since the ceiling was black, we needed to make the screen case black, so Daylight was able to do that for us.
We really take pride on the artwork and the colors in our tap room, so the screen was really nice to have as far as the aesthetics of the cords and everything being hidden in the ceiling.
The surface we chose was the HD Progressive 1.1 contrast for a couple of reasons. One is that it did have a little bit of extra gain to it at 1.1, and we're trying to get as much brightness as we can in this high ambient light environment that we have. It's also 16K ready, so it is future-proofing the customer. The other thing was this surface gave us that extra boost in contrast that we were looking for.
One of the benefits that we have is this giant glass door, and with this large screen and how bright it is, we can open this door and even people on the patio are able to enjoy.
We also used other products from LAVNCH, such as the Chief projector mount and also C2G products. We used their HDMI extender over Cat6 to get the HDMI signal to the projector. We appreciate the LAVNCH products having everything that we need to do an installation, from mounting to the screen to the cabling. It's nice to have one place to go and have the support of all the LAVNCH brands.
We really feel like the screen kind of ties everything together.
This is just an extra layer of bringing people in and getting them hooked and connected to the brewery.
Our customers love it. It's a huge upgrade. They're making all kinds of comments about how crisp the picture is, and we really feel like everyone's digging the screen. What else? Just trying to think, like, it's just cool, you know?
All right, and we're back. And speaking of Legrand, so as we know, Legrand is a glue company. It has many, many brands under the umbrella, and one of its brands is LAVNCH, which is a lighting brand. And there is a new alliance between LAVNCH and Elemental LED, where it is partnering with I want to say that this is pronounced Lucetta. If I'm wrong, sorry. And the partnership basically means that Lucetta's low voltage linear lighting solutions are going to pair with LAVNCH's L-Human, human-centric lighting. So this is going to kind of keep with the circadian lighting that LAVNCH already offers. So I thought that was interesting and very cool. I believe that we are in an era in AV of constant alliances like this. I think that, like, Gary and I have talked about this over the past 6 months. We're going to see a lot more alliances. We're going to see a lot more of like companies buying each other out. But as we know, in a period with any type of industry, like there's always a period of that. And then there's a period of like tons of competition again. So I just think we're in a period of like partnerships right now.
Yeah. And I think this points to another trend that is like using technology for your well-being. We've seen it in the office more and more, and in the home, particularly when it comes to like circadian rhythms and color temperatures. And I'm here for all of that. I'm very sensitive to lighting, like office lighting. I cannot handle. It gives me a headache usually.
Yeah. Are you like one of those people that is like never ever like put an overhead light in the room that I'm in?
I don't have any overhead lighting in my home. So yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, like it's from, I had a brain injury a while ago, and lighting really since then has impacted like how I feel, and being in an office for like any sustained period of time gives me such a headache.
That's fair. I have like a lot of our coworkers here, like they just like these lights are like motion based, and they'll just like be still for a long time so that they go off. And and Sarah Abrams, like she is like a cave girl. Like Miss Girl loves working in like the
Me too.
darkness.
We used to, when I did work in an office, like some of us would go work in the conference room and turn the light off. Like it was just like a nice break from.
Yeah, that's true. It is like nicer to your eyeballs. But then I feel like the computer screen hurts my eyes more if like the rest of the
I wear
room is
blue
dark.
light glasses a lot of the time.
That's fair. Well, continuing on. Okay, I want to talk about this story that we were like talking about earlier or alluding to earlier. And this was Mark Coxon wrote this, and this is AI a danger to our personal relationships? Like, tell me about this, Megan. This is really freaky.
This is Mark did a fantastic job, but this whole story gives me nightmares. Because you can see the implications of a lot of this happening now. So first, in this film is in the article. There's a short film, and by short we mean super short. It's
like 3
minutes. Slightly
minutes.
over 3 minutes. Yeah, it's called Privacy Lost. So this film kind of dives into what happens when we're using like AI and mixed reality for things, and essentially it's two parents and a child are at dinner. And they're wearing these glasses, which Steph, we were just talking about.
Well, yeah.
And they're all seeing different things. Like the woman sees the waiter as like a very attractive young man, and the father sees the waiter as a very unattractive young woman, and the kid sees it as like a teddy bear or something. And the waiter is using glasses to judge their emotions and knowing like, okay, I can upsell the dad on this. The kid really wants ice cream, and it's scary to see what that's happening. But then in the blog, Mark really talks about how AI and mixed reality can affect that and those social emotional connections, and how essentially like your private thoughts and feelings that people don't know generally unless you say, or they're very good at reading body language, using technology now we can kind of detect that.
It's like too much.
It is. Yeah. I agree.
Like, maybe technology has come too far. Like maybe we need to like just cool it for a little bit. Like maybe
they did sign a petition a while ago, maybe in March.
Mhm.
There was, I want to say, Elon Musk, Steve Wozniak, about pausing development on AI because they're afraid of what it can do. And there's some debates over whether they're afraid of what it can do or they're afraid, they're not as up to date as their competitors and are losing
For
market share.
sure.
But
I think it's probably more that. I think
yeah,
is if we continue innovating, but we keep in mind like privacy, human rights, and like ethics, like I think
right.
that it's great. But if we kind of forget why we started innovating this in the first place, I think that's where it can get really scary.
Yeah. And
So,
one of the things that I think would be a good thing is some government oversight. Like, because
mhm.
right now there's not really national laws on. We
And
talked about this for like facial
right.
recognition. There's not an overarching law, so laws are different from even state to state about those things. So I
Right.
think we need some kind of regulation over the
For
industry a little
sure.
bit.
And that comes with any new technology that happens upon any market. Like until it's regulated, it's always a little bit scary.
Right. And we
So
need people that can speak to the government who are not experts in technology, as we've seen from some previous hearings on technology,
for
that
sure.
can make, what's happening to them, make them understand what's happening
Yeah,
and how to
exactly.
regulate it.
Yeah. And speaking of AI, that is the subject of our rAVe monthly temperature check this month, which is our survey that we send out to all you AV tweeps every month. And yes, we are asking about AI and pro AV. July is just a big AI month. We're going to talk about this a little more later, but there's Artificial Intelligence Appreciation Day coming up this weekend. So just a lot of AI is like in everyone's mind this month. So there's 3 questions all about how Pro AV and AI are working together. So go answer those. It takes literally maybe 2 minutes. And if you answer, you are put into the running for one of 2 $50 Amazon gift cards, which we are giving away this month, as we do every month. So go and fill it out. It's easy. Prime Day is happening. So, everyone wants to buy a little
Yes.
something. And continuing on, another one of our fantastic sponsors and partners is Aver. Aver's Pro AV division. Their A30 all-in-one camera has won a Tech and Learning Best of Show award at ISTE Live 2023. So congratulations to them. And if you want to learn more about the A30, learn more about Aver's Pro AV division, all you have to do is scan that QR code and you can learn more there. So big news yesterday. Like I am not used to big news really happening in July.
Right.
July is kind of like all right,
Post
InfoComm just
InfoComm, chill out.
happened. Like no one has really that many announcements. But BrightSign was like, no, we have a big announcement. So
Yeah.
Megan, tell me what happened.
So basically, Jeff Hastings, he's the longtime CEO, is going to be stepping down as CEO effective August 1st. I shouldn't say stepping down August 1st. August 1st, he'll switch to co-CEO. And then in the new year, he is going to become the chief technology officer. And then Steve Durkee of Legrand is joining the team, and he's going to be co-CEO starting August 1st until the end of the year when he'll assume the role of CEO.
That's awesome. And Gary has said that he believes that Steve is going to put BrightSign into the public market. So he is like, get ready, buy stock if it becomes a public company. Like this is just, you know how Gary is. Gary is like
Gary loves predictions.
He loves predictions. Kay's crystal ball. So if you are a person who listens to Gary, as you should. I mean, a lot of his predictions are often very right. So definitely keep your eye out for BrightSign becoming public because he says this is going to be a really important company to go ahead and buy stock in if that becomes an option. So, I was hoping Gary would be able to like pop in and talk about this a little more, but there was like a slim chance that he was going to be like in the airport at a good time, like when he was changing flights. But I'll ask him about this next week as well. But continuing on, registration has officially opened for Commercial Integrator Expo. And if you do not know what that is, Megan, explain to everyone what Commercial Integrator Expo is.
So I want to also talk about, because we just announced the education program for Commercial Integrator Expo too. So Commercial Integrator Expo, essentially, if you're familiar with CEDIA Expo, that's been going on for a long time. And several years ago, Emerald, which is an events producer, they also have the Kitchen and Bath Show. they purchased the CEDIA Expo part. So not the education part, that still belongs to CEDIA, the association, but the Expo part. And this year, for the first time ever, they are also doing Commercial Integrator Expo. It's going to be held in conjunction with CEDIA Expo. One hall, you can see the latest residential, resi-commercial, and Pro AV technology.
That's cool.
So it is going to be the first week in September, like Labor Day week. It's in Denver, which I love because I love that city. It's really fun.
I've never been before.
Really? Oh, it's so fun.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I'm really excited. I'm so excited.
I recommend staying longer for hiking.
That's yeah. Okay, you're not the first person who's told me to hike in Denver.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And so the education program we also just announced, I'm really excited about it. Steph, we're both doing panels. Gary's doing a panel. There's a good combination of different topics. There's some case studies. There's one I'm really excited about, the Amelia Earhart Hangar Museum. They've done some really cool stuff there with virtual reality and all of that. There's sessions from IMCCA, focus on UCC, the Digital Signage Federation, obviously focus on digital signage. NSCA has some business learning. It's going to be a good time. I'm stoked.
That's going to be it's super stacked. And early bird pricing for the conference packages, which includes education and to the expo, that's about to end. So go ahead and register now if you are interested in attending the education sessions. Of course, we have a free code you can use for admission to the expo portion. So education sessions not included. You still do have to pay for those, but for the expo only, you can go and use rAVE CE23. So rAVE CE23 gets you free access onto the show floor. So
we love free.
We will continue reminding you about that. And yeah, we're really excited about Denver. It's going to be a super cool show. And continuing on, our last sponsor and partner is Shure, and we have a video that we are excited to show you. This is another case study, so check this out.
Kudart worked hand in hand with the client from the inception of the design through to the final delivery. The Shure STEM solution gave us the advantage of not only a very high quality audio, microphone, speaker solution, but also integrated perfectly into the design of the meeting space. When we're thinking about designing spaces for conferencing, getting the audio right is absolutely key. If you can't be heard, there's no point in having the call. One of the added benefits of the solution is that it allows us to incrementally add, if we need to, additional microphones, speakers, so that we can tune the space perfectly to the client's requirements for conferencing.
The STEM ecosystem is designed to take the complexity out of meeting rooms. Simply plug in your device, press the Room Adapt button, and the device will send out a series of tones which will be measured for reverberation so the device can set up so it will be perfectly sounding in that room. If the room is bigger or the device can't quite manage the space, we can simply add more devices into the chain.
This space needs not only to work for your classic boardroom meetings, but also for town halls, conferences, and other events.
So the STEM ecosystem is still a big part of the Shure family and will continue to be so, and we're constantly rolling out new firmware updates to ensure that the product never goes end of life, is always future compatible, and always meets the needs of the customer.
All right, speak of Gary K, and he will appear. Gary, welcome. Thanks for joining.
All I have to say is that it did not surprise me that Steph used an install for daylight in a brewery to talk about that thing. I mean, I just knew that was Steph. I had to
all the
respond
important
to that.
parts of my personality in one video. So,
but no, I wanted to pop on. I've been watching the shows. I've been taxiing my way over here and just arrived. But my comment about Brightsign, obviously I have no inside information and I'm not offering stock advice, but Steve Durkee has golden fingers. He knows how to run a big company. He knows how to build a big company.
Oh, not the hotel internet. It's working against us right now.
Oh, frozen.
Oh, wait, you're back.
All right. I was just saying that Steve has the tools to bring that company to a whole new level, and he'll do it. Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't want to
So-
offer stock advice, but he's going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, take from that what you will, everybody. Those were Gary K's words. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate you for hopping on. So continuing on, I wanted to talk about a case study from one of our favorite companies. We love Snap One, and it is not just because they are our neighbor, very local in Charlotte, North Carolina, but they are an interesting company because they are very big in the pro AV space and very big in the home AV space. And this case study is about how they are working on this like great outdoors project in a 30,000 square foot property, which is very cool. Snap One is like another company that just like does a million things. And we actually have a podcast that shows you all of what Snap One does. So if you go to ravepubs.com, check out the podcast, you can go check it out. It's called the Snap One Files because they have so many companies under them and they do so much from lighting to control to like video, like they do so much. So definitely check it out. And this particular case study is about, it's like Acadian home theater and automation project. So definitely read through it, check out all that about Snap One. They're a cool company. Continuing on, Megan, tell me, you shared I think it's a case study as well that you wanted to talk about.
Not a case study, but it's a new integration that I think is really interesting. So Disguise and a company called Valinga have a new integration for AI-driven 3D content.
Very cool.
So that's a lot of like buzzwords in one sentence, I know, but essentially what it's doing is users can take 2D content with your phone. So Steph, you're sitting in the office and you want to like take some shots of the office, what's going around there. You can upload the footage to Valinga's AI platform, and then using Disguise's render stream, essentially you can turn it into an immersive virtual scene that anyone can interact with, which is great for virtual production,
Oh, yeah, that's actually really cool.
It is it's really neat. One of the things they talk about was like changing the weather. So like, let's say you and Kelsey are outside having lunch one day and it's like beautiful, but you want to change, upload it and you can change it so it looks like it's like a horrible storm. You can do whatever you want with it.
Very cool.
I think it's an interesting integration, and we're going to see, we're just talking about partnerships, integrations. I think we're going to see more of this, particularly when it comes to using like 3D generative AI. We're going to see things like that more and more, especially as people push into virtual production, and stuff like this can, drive the adoption of digital twins, which if you're not familiar what a digital twin is, it's essentially like an avatar, but of an object. So, people are making digital twins of cities, neighborhoods, all of that kind of thing.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I see this like becoming more of a thing in like more platforms that are similar to Meta.
Yeah.
Yeah. But continuing on, like we've been talking a lot about AI today, and part of the reason is because AI Appreciation Day is July 16th, which is this Sunday, and we are actually doing like kind of a lot just to like support this holiday. We are posting new blogs on PUBS and Launch Code every hour from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. this Sunday. So there are going to be so many pieces of content for you to read. We partnered with so many awesome people to like basically focus on different assets of AI and aspects of it, and to show like, from Megan, from things that you cover and how this is on virtual production and, the AI and AR and VR and MR and XR. I think I got all of them.
Yeah, I think what's really interesting about AI is it's been used for a long time in Pro AV, very differently than how it's used in emerging technology. And we're going to cover all of that. Like on rAVe Pubs, you'll see about like AI in higher ed, AI in K through 12, AI and security integrations. And we've gotten, like you said, some really cool authors. And then obviously AI Day falls on a Sunday, which, we understand if you don't want to read things on a Sunday, but we're going to be promoted throughout the week. We're going to have a few more blogs throughout the week because we want to continue the celebration and make sure you're reading these articles because we have some really great content coming from people.
Exactly. And the last thing we will remind you of is our Pro AV Symposium. So this is a rAVe event powered by our launch platform. This is going to be August 30th at 1 Eastern. It's very exciting. It's a half-day symposium, and it is going to be everything that you need to know about key markets within Pro AV. This is your corporate, higher ed, plenty more. And there's going to be like 30-minute like panel updates with different AV leaders, thought leaders, experts. So it's going to be very, very great. So go ahead, save your spot, go ahead and register by using that QR code. And we are very excited, and we will see you there.
I think, Steph, this is going to be cool because it's going to be sort of like a preview ahead of launch week. You know, we do launch week twice a year. Launch week is coming up at the end of October. This is almost like a midpoint check-in where we can see like what, you know, post InfoComm, what trends are we seeing? What are people working on? And during launch week at, I want to say October 24th, that starts towards the end of October, but we'll be able to get a preview before that when we get to do a deeper dive into all of these.
Exactly.
topics.
It's very awesome. And it's just half a day. So it's a little easier to, you know, spend your time like than it was at the beginning of our launch weeks when they were literally like 5 days, 9 to 5. So yes, it's a little easier to take half a day and go ahead and join. So yeah, we are very excited about it. Thank you all for joining us for another episode of rAVe TV. Thank you, Megan, for being my guest host today.
Thanks for having me here. If you want to check out all the latest emerging technology news, head to launchcode.com. That's LAVNCHCODE.com.
Of course. And if you want to check out any of the stories that Megan and I talked about today, we have a QR code and we'll pop that up in a second so you can go, and it has all of those links there. Of course, you can go to, launchcode.com. You can also go to ravepubs.com and you can see all the latest Pro AV and Home AV news. That's it from me. I will see you all next Wednesday at noon Eastern. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.